Good morning, folks. What is up? This is Michael in the wee hours in the dead of night on the graveyard shift, the good old graveyard shift, full of coffee at this hour with your daily trivia question. Once again, happy hump day, my favorite day of the week. We're halfway there. So the answer to the previous trivia question was none other than the famous horror movie, the first of the whole series, Friday the 13th. Now, Friday the 13th was your typical slasher film, what became known as the era of slasher films. It was a pretty easy, simplistic plot. A group of teenage camp counselors are murdered, surprisingly, one by an unknown killer while attempting to reopen an abandoned summer camp. The killer in the first film is actually the mother of the main character of the franchise, who of course was Jason Voorhees. Now this makes for a really good trivia question, like who was the only killer out of the whole series of the movies who wasn't Jason? It's really good kind of trivia there. But Friday the 13th is where it all started. The first film went down in horror movie history with its scary kind of cliffhanger ending. Now, as I was researching this is known as what's known as a chair jumper in the slasher film industry, where Jason's decomposing corpse jumps out of a lake and attacks an unsuspecting camp counselor who sought refuge in the boat, believing that she was safe. Now, if you've ever seen this movie before, I hope everyone's had a chance to see the original Friday the 13th. The ending is very good. This went down in horror movie kind of history. The film also revolutionized kind of an open-ended horror movie ending, if you will, where you just knew there was going to be another sequel in the future. Like it left a lot to be guessed at, if you will, at the end of every one of these movies. The movie also had what became an iconic scary score or a sound of representing the killer whenever he was lurking around. Now, what this turned out to be kind of this sound right here. Let's see if I can get this. Just like that. Just like that. Just spooky sounds just like that. That went down in history and became a staple in the Friday the 13th movies. And the producer looped together the words kill and mother or mama. I'm not sure. It was one of those two. And it fed the sound back into a massive reverberation type of a machine of sorts to achieve this sound that became, like I said, a staple in every one of the movies to represent when Jason Voorhees was lurking around and getting ready to kill somebody. And in the first one, of course, it was his mother. Let me tell you, too, I saw this movie back in 1980, and I went to school the next day making that creepy sound. Let's see if I can. Just like that. Yeah, I was creeping out the girls, creeping out the teachers. I got sent to the principal's office. I got in some pretty serious trouble over doing that. But anywho, that was that. So that was the first Friday the 13th movie, and a couple of cool geek factoids about it. It had an initial budget, check this out, of $550,000, which was kind of chump change back in 1980s to make a movie, okay? It would go on to gross $59.8 million worldwide. That's phenomenal in the movie industry. It really is. It was written as a rebuttal of sorts by the producer and director Sean Cunningham against the 1978 success of John Carpenter's Halloween. He wanted something to kind of compete with that. So that was pretty interesting. And you'll find in the horror movie industry and slasher films, that's what these producers and these writers do constantly. They're competing with each other. The idea for the iconic scary sound was created because the director wanted something comparable to the famous music score from the movie Jaws, that bass kind of sound, kind of a piano that represented whenever the shark was around. That's what we got with Friday the 13th. I don't know. Go figure. But it became, like I said, a staple of all the movies. Friday the 13th was one of Kevin Bacon's first film. So you've heard of the 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. There was a degree of Kevin Bacon even in the Friday the 13th movies. If you look real closely, that's him. One of his first movies ever. And the series, the very first one, spawned a total of 12 franchise films. That's a whole lot of Friday the 13th movies. And he took on like Freddy from Elm Street. He went to hell at one point in time. I think he ran for president. I'm not even sure. So how many of these have you seen? I know people who have seen every one of them and know every aspect of every one of the films. And these Friday the 13th movies, I could tell you, make for really great trivia questions. That's for sure. Get out. All right, enough of that creepy horror movie sound stuff, and let's get on to a brand new trivia question for Hump Day. May 11th, brand new trivia. Here we go. On this day in 1934, due to drought and poor farming techniques, a period of severe storms in the Midwest begins that would carry tons of silt across the entire United States. This era that would greatly damage the ecology and agriculture of the American prairies was known as this. Have a good Hump Day. And see y'all next time. Thanks for all you do. Be safe.